Hill is when I began. Torn, sweating, and ran. From the mound of sand and clay poured the black gold of that day. 100 barrels filled and sealed. God please bless those old Tar Heels.
Okay, we're doing coopering now, which a lot of you have requested. The reason we started coopering was because we could not find the exact size of the barrels that they used in the day with the tar and pitch, which were 32-gallon barrels, but we did find the measurements on them, and so I had to learn to cooper to make what we could not find that still existed out of this yellow pine that they used in these woods. And so here's an example of what we've learned and been doing with the buckets and the barrels and the crude barrels that they use to gather resin in the woods. Now they used barrels and buckets, 32-gallon barrels and buckets to collect the products in. We make both. This is a bucket stave, and these staves are worked on this inverted wood plane, which is called a jointer, or was called a jointer. And all you have to do is flip one upside down, screw it to a board where you can work these staves across that blade. Now we just showed you the inverted plane for the buckets, short staves, but if you were going to make a barrel back then, this is a replica of what they used, and basically you needed a longer platform for a barrel stave with your inverted plane in the middle, so we had to make this manufacture it because there aren't any of them around to be found, but this is what you would work your barrel staves on, the longer staves. As you can see the word jointer, these were called jointers because you work the joints between each stave on them. So this is called a jointer, or an inverted plane. All right, you've got to have a form to put your staves on. We made this. You see a hole drilled in my table right there where this dowel goes through the bottom, which is a little bigger. It's 9.5 inches, and the top is a little bit smaller, about 8 inches, and it slides up and down also. Okay, for the size buckets we make. Then I got a hole here where I drilled through to hold that up, so you can then stand up staves, and we use a rubber band to start with. They didn't have these, but we do, to hold your staves to it while you're placing them in a circle beside each other. Okay, we're going to start out with what I use instead of going out here cutting a tree down and drying wood, which they did, or using stuff laying in the woods. Just for our purposes, we go to the hardware store and buy the cheapest yellow pine you can buy. They use these for framing up cement and stuff down here in the south, and it's, you know, very cheap per board, 4 inches, or you can get 6 and 8 inch ones, but I choose the 4 because I can split it and make 2 staves, usually 1 to 2 staves out of each section. And what I want is 10 inches, okay? A bucket that we'll be talking about, you use 22 staves. 2 of them are 12 inches long, the others are 10. So you go ahead and cut your wood at 10 inches. Now, if you want to do it the way they did it, of course, you're going to take a plain old saw, hand saw, and cut your wood with the hand saw. an inverted plane. That's what they used. In fact, it's called a joiner, and the ones for barrels were much bigger and longer. This one for bucket staves I've got mounted to my table, so it's about waist height, so I can work the staves on it. You got to get them straight first. You're cutting it. And once you've got it straight, you cut your angle on it. Okay, you want a basic shape out of it. People want to realize how many times you have to run these things over a planer to get them straight. It was not easy work, okay? But you can see we've got our grain to the inside. Now you're going to take that grain like this and work off your angle so that this is to the inside of your bucket. Just slightly cut an angle on it. If you can see that. And see the angle. People say, what angle is it? I say, I don't know. It's what works. You'll get the feel of it after you do it for a while. Now you can see about the angle, and it's a little bit different on each end, but it's just like playing music by ear. Once you do it long enough, you get the feel of it, and you know what works on your table when you start putting it together. And as long as it's close, I would say it's a 15–20% angle, probably. Not much, that we're going to put them together to make a round bucket. Okay?